Hey, third graders, we are going to work on page 227 in your math journal. And a lot of times in our math group, people have a hard time finding the next kind of page or where we left off. Not that we're going to do every page, but you might want to use a sticky note or a bookmark or stick something kind of in that spot so you know approximately where to start and you don't have to thumb through all the pages. So page 227. And we're going to tackle something today that is a pretty difficult concept. We're going to get started with it, but we're going to learn a lot more in a different unit. But I want to give you a little bit of a preview. And these are with multiple step or two-step word problems. So word problems in themselves are tricky. You have to be able to figure out what they're asking you to do. And in a multi-step word problem, you have to do more than one thing to solve the problem. Okay, and they don't give you all the information. You have to do some inferring and figure some things out first to be able to solve and answer the question they're asking you. Okay, so we're just going to do a couple today, 2 or 3 today, and then have a little bit of practice with it for some homework. Okay, but it is a tricky concept, so make sure you're really paying attention, really thinking. You might have to ask a grown-up for help. You might want to come to the math lesson or an open Zoom to get some of your questions answered too. All right. So number 1 says Isabel bought 36 pieces of fruit for her soccer team. There are 16 apples, 12 bananas, and the rest are pears. How many pieces of fruit are pears? So we are looking, right, for how many pears. We know there are apples, bananas, and pears, and all together there are 36 pieces. So let's kind of draw what that would look like. If I've got 36 pieces of fruit, I know 16 of them are apples, 12 of them are bananas, right? But I don't know how many of them are pears. So I'm going to label these. Pears, I'm just going to put a B for bananas and A for apples. Okay, so you've got to be thinking, how do I figure this part out using what I already know? Okay, the information they've already given you. If I know there are 36 pieces altogether, right, part of them are made up of apples and bananas, I'm going to first add together my apples and bananas, and then the difference, right, between that and 36 would be how many pears. So let me show you how we're going to do it. I'm going to do a number 1 here for my first step. I'm going to add together 16 and 12 because that's apples and bananas together. Okay, add my 1s, add my 10s. I didn't need to do any new groups, right? So those 2 categories of fruit equal 28. Okay, but I have 36 altogether. So my second step is going to take my total 36 and I'm going to subtract the apples and the bananas to find out what number is left. And whatever's left is the number of pears. Okay, I have 6 1s. I want to take away 8. I don't have enough. There's more on the floor. I have to go next door. I'm going to ungroup and take a 10 and give 10 to my 6. So now I have 16. Okay, 16 minus 8, that I can do. And I know my doubles really well, right? I have 8 left. 2 minus 2 would be an imaginary 0 right there because we don't put a 0 at the beginning of a number, right? So 8 is the magic number. I have 8 pears. Okay, so what I did really first was add this together, right? And then I subtracted away from the total. Okay, there are more than one way to do it. You could have taken the 36 and subtracted the apples. Okay, and then whatever you get there, you would subtract the bananas from that number. Okay, and then, right, you would be able to see what would be left. Okay, so our answer is 8 pears. Okay, So multiple steps, might be 2, might be 3. It's a little tricky, so you have to really think about it. And I like to draw a picture to kind of help me visualize what it really looks like. Okay, so let's try number 2. I'm going to do this so I can tell that that went with number 1. Okay, and we're going to try number 2 together. It says Toby has a collection of sports cards. He has 13 baseball cards, 16 basketball cards, and 14 football cards. Toby sold 15 cards and he bought 17 hockey cards. What is the total number of cards in Toby's collection now? Okay, so in the past, they would tell you how many cards altogether. You have to figure that out now, right? And then think through the process. So we're going to bracket our question. What is the total number of cards? Okay, because they're all different types of sports cards. Cards is going to be our label. Okay, so we've got to figure out how many cards he starts with. That's really the first question that I'm going to answer. They don't tell me that question, right? I have to think about, okay, what do I need to do first? Well, I need to figure out how many cards he starts with. Okay, he's got 13 baseball, 16 basketball, and 14 football. So let's add together all of the cards and figure out how many he starts with. Okay, 13, 16, and 14. Okay, I'm just going to add all my ones together. Right away, I can see that makes a 10. 10 and 3 is 13. So that's 3 ones and a new group of 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4 10s all together. So he starts out with 43 cards. Okay, so then he sold 15 and he bought some more. So if he sells 15 cards, I'm going to take 15 away from my total. Okay. More on the floor. I have to go next door. 13 minus 5. Think about what that is. Hopefully you come up with 8. I have 3 10s. I'm going to take 1 10 away. I have 2 10s left. Okay, so now after selling his 15 cards, he's got 28. Okay, and then he buys 17 hockey cards. So now my third step is adding the new hockey cards to the amount that he has after selling some. Okay, so he's got 28 and he's adding 17 more to his collection. Go ahead and solve that. Okay, 45 is what I come up with. Okay, what is the total number of cards in Toby's collection now? Now he has 45 cards. Okay, so you have to do some inferring on your own. You have to think about what is it that I need to do first? And then what do I need to do next? It's just like going through and step by step, right? This is what we use this information to solve number 1, right? Then number 2 was when we subtracted. And then number 3 was when he added some more cards. Okay, so this is a 3-step, right? Multi-step. That means more than one. Okay, and here's the proof of how we did it. Okay, I can't do this in my head. I need to write it down and I need to show my operations and what I'm doing. Okay, and showing my work. All right, so tonight on your homework, be really careful. Pay attention to what you're doing. A grown-up might need to help you, and that's totally fine. Okay, don't worry about needing help because this is a tricky concept. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that again, just to remind myself that all that work goes with number 2. All right, and like I said, we're going to work on 2-step and multi-step word problems in a different math unit. This is just a little introduction. Okay, but this is what you'll need to do at some point in 3rd grade. All right, so you might as well learn how to do it now.